No matter who you are in the NFT space right now, you have to be on Twitter. It doesn't matter if you're a collector, it doesn't matter if you're an artist, it doesn't matter if you're a project. It will make you sales, it will teach you things, and I honestly think it's going to progress every single person who uses it. Now, I've never really been a big fan of Twitter, but after spending ages trying to find different ways for people to promote themselves, this is where the activity is right now. Here and Discord groups, but it's a nightmare trying to find good Discord groups. So in this video, I'm going to fill in a little bit more about why you need to check it out, with some good news, even if you hate it, how to use it best to make some sales, why it sucks at the same time, and what not to do, definitely, and then what to do. Let's just kick this off with why Twitter matters. So to start off with, this is a great place to network. So networking is kind of key in this industry because it's how you're going to learn stuff and how you're going to move forward. So you can meet other creators here, other artists, other platforms, investors, collectors. It's all going on and it's very active. The second thing is Twitter's your voice. Even as me, as someone who makes videos on YouTube, if I want to get a message out, I have to make an entire video about it or use my community board, which doesn't really get pushed that much. So Twitter allows you to communicate fast and to the right people. And also because Twitter is kind of the hub now, everyone using Twitter is looking for better connections. People are wanting to follow people to find out about projects, to better themselves and their businesses. The next reason this really matters is NFTs is a small community, and actually this is the most active platform right now. Places like Instagram, that's fine, you have to post a picture and then there's a write-up and it still requires a lot of work. This is really fast, like anyone can get involved with this. There's a low barrier to entry, you've just got to be able to type. But probably the most important thing that you want to hear is this is where sales are getting made. I see it every day. Then collectors show off what they've sold to their followers, it creates hype. And then for me, what I'm finding the most useful for this personally is this is where I find out information. This is where I get the best info, find out about projects, discover new artists, and learn a ton. People keep commenting and going, where did you find out about this stuff? Well, it's Twitter. Googling stuff just doesn't bring up decent results. Probably the main reason and why this matters so much is if you are an NFT creator and you want people to invest in your work, you just have to be seen to be promoting yourself. Because if people are looking for a great investment and the creator's doing nothing extra, why would they invest in you? I actually recently bought an NFT from a creator purely because, well, I quite liked it, but also they're so active and they're really trying to get their name out there. Every day I go on and they're tweeting, and it doesn't matter that they don't have 20 million followers. I just feel like with that level of persistence, if they can keep at it, something's going to happen for this person. So I wanted to support them to just keep them going, but also I just feel like the effort they're putting in is going to build value in the NFT that I've bought too. And then my favorite reason for why it matters is you don't have to post anything if you don't want. Just get an account and start connecting with people and looking at what they're posting. If we go on my home wall, every day I just scroll through this and there's artists I learn from, there's investors, there's projects, and it's a really quick way of just staying up to date. I mean, look, this is a Twitter account that just popped up on my homepage. He's very knowledgeable in NFTs and he's talking about starting a Discord to teach people how to flip and make money from NFTs. And having followed this guy for a while, I'm really interested in joining. So let's just have a quick look at how to use this, shall we? The first question people usually have is how often do I post to Twitter and what do I post? Well, it's actually recommended that you post something every hour of the day because Twitter is so active, which is just unrealistic. And I definitely wouldn't advise you try and do that. What you want to look at posting are a few things. Value, as I call it. So let me just show you what value looks like. So this is Matty, who I've spoken about before from the MetaKey, and I've actually turned my notifications on for when he tweets. So I have a separate bit where I can go through and read his tweets because he teaches me so much and just has a great view on things. So we can scroll down, and Matty gives a ton of value. So not only does he talk about his projects and so on, but this post, for example, what does it mean to do your own research on NFT projects? It's always bugged me when you go on someone's page and they're like, do your own research. And I'm like, well, I am doing my research by reading your stuff. And Matty here has just gone and described a process to do your own research, which to me is super handy. Monitor Discords, look at historical sales, read critical takes, research team integrity, play, experience the project. I was like, well, I've now got a checklist. Everything I'm going to do. Thanks, Matty. That was incredibly valuable. So he's constantly posting things like that. And that is what I would class as a value post. You're kind of educating people. Now, the next thing that you want to post on Twitter is opinions. Now, you need to be careful with this. And I'm going to touch on why soon. You can't please everyone. And if you think that Damien Hirst's NFT drop is a load of nonsense, say it, because someone else will be out there with you. You want people to follow you who have similar values and beliefs to you, because they're way more likely to then be engaged in the stuff you post and potentially become a client of some kind. So I'm going to use Matty again as an example of opinions, because he does it really well. So here, for example, it's not that I don't like PFP NFT projects, I just don't like the transparency and the whale control. Big fan of the community aspect, legit team, and the thrill of revealing what you bought. May participate in future ones that have more than "we're opening a Discord at 20% sold." The reason I like his Twitter so much is because he posts opinions, he's not afraid to have a say, but he writes it in a way that isn't really confrontational, doesn't make you angry if you disagree. You're like, well, that's fair enough. And that's, to me, is what's important about Twitter, because you're always one step away from an argument on Twitter. Okay, so the next sort of thing to post is news. Now, I have a nifty little app attached to my Twitter account. I think it's called paper.li. I do pay for it, it's not much. But what it does is I have programmed it to every day tweet one NFT article to my timeline. And this is great for a few reasons. So it's relevant content for people who are following me. I'm not expecting this stuff to go viral. But also, it's a really easy place for me to come and look at interesting news articles because it's just sent to my Twitter feed. You do want to stay active on Twitter, and this is a really easy way to provide value. But also, you know, when people discover you, they can go through and be like, okay, they're active. You don't want to be seen as a dead page. But at the same time, you do not just want to be posting links. You still need to have a voice, which you're going to go into in a second. And then, of course, you can promote your project and tweets. It's the similar sort of rule to pretty much every other form of digital marketing, 80-20. 80% value, opinions, conversation, 20% sales. And if you can try and stick to that rule, you're not going to annoy people. You know, you do not want to come on Twitter and just post your projects in people's comments. It's not a good way to sell. You just annoy everyone. And don't tag random people who you think can help promote your projects. Definitely don't do that, because I keep getting tagged in stuff and I just block these people because it's annoying as hell. You need to build relationships with people first. And then I'd say the most important thing here is to get involved with the community and comment and have conversations with people on their posts. And you can have some real fun. There's an artist I follow, Kid8, he posts a lot of stuff. He's an artist generating a solid following and also a lot of sales. Super active on Twitter, go and check him out. You know, every now and then there's some controversy around him, but he's pretty chilled. And, you know, you can see this tweet here. He's talking about going to play with his son in the garden, which is cool. It's just, you know, shows that he's a real person. Then he has opinions on things going on. And he writes stuff that's funny, and I often join in the banter. But what happens with that is then other people start commenting, they start following you, and if they like what you have to say in the comments and the conversation, it's just a good way of building up Twitter followers. Once you start doing it and getting used to it, then it will pull you in and you'll find that actually this is quite a fun place to be and you can build some good relationships here. Just start off simple. If you see an article or a post and you think that's a great point, just write what you think and say, oh, there's a fantastic point. I especially like the point you made about X, Y, and Z. So the way this works is like this. Likes, comments, retweets, shares. Tell Twitter that this is better content and they'll push it out to more of your followers and maybe people who don't follow you too. And that's why value and opinions work so well, because they always get comments and likes and engagement, and even arguments are good for the algorithm. I would say just try and post something once a day just to get you going. So that's kind of like the very basics of Twitter. There's some other cool features that you can use too. So there's this thing called Twitter Spaces. It's kind of like Clubhouse. You can create an audio room where you can have conversations with people, but also other people will do them too. So at the top of the app, you'll see them and you can go and listen to NFT conversations, news. You can even join in and get on stage and talk. But another feature that I really like about Twitter too is lists. So I'm currently making a list, and this is basically where you just put people in a list of anything you like. So I'm calling this the NFT Gold List, and I'm just gradually, as I discover really valuable NFT accounts who I think put out fantastic tweets and information and keep me ahead of the game of the news, I'm adding them to this. There's only 12 in it so far. Kid8 is one of them, just because I really enjoy watching his project progress. I'll make this open so you can just link to it and find some people to follow, and I'll keep adding to them over time. But yeah, if you're an artist and you find artists who you think are really good, put them into an NFT artist list. It's very simple. And you can just do that on your phone. Basically, when you open up your phone, you'll see lists at the top there, and then down the bottom you'll see this little blue button. You can click on that and make a list, and then when you see people on Twitter that you like, you see those little 3 dots here, you click them and then you can add them to the list. You know, you can keep your list private, you can keep them open. My list is currently private, I'll open it up. And it's also worthwhile trying to find other people's lists, because they might have done this hard work for you, and that'll help get through some of the noise and the nonsense. Now, what I would recommend for this is I have multiple Twitter accounts for different things. I'm not using my main one, because my main one, I'm just following too many different people. So I want my home stream here just to be a place that I can pop on once a day and catch up with the news and interact with people, and then move on. And it's always NFT based. And also, you know, I'm promoting myself as an NFT creator, so I don't want to be mixing messages up and talking about other things on this. But like I said, if you really don't want to tweet or do anything like that, just come on here and follow people and check out the home feed, because I guarantee you will benefit from it. So let's move on to why I hate Twitter what to watch out for, what definitely not to do, and to steer way clear from. So to start off with, do not post crap. It should be obvious, but it's very easy to get into the habit of posting just a really short comment or a song lyric, as you see sometimes people do, and that's fine. But also at the same time, I feel like you don't want people to get bored and go, I'm going to unfollow this person. So that should really go without saying. The second thing is you need to watch out who you are following here. Now, this has blown my mind, but there are influencers who call themselves influencers, which is funny, on on Twitter who have sort of large-ish followings. So they're like 30,000 followers, which is quite a lot in this industry. Now, there are two types of influencers. The influencer that you want to follow is packed full of value and will just fascinate you. And they may have the odd spat here and there because their opinions will annoy people. And then there's the other type who is only an influencer by following size. They post nothing influential, nothing useful. They're just there to argue, cause spats, and challenge opinions. And that's generally what I hate about Twitter, is you don't have to have any talent. You can simply make a name for yourself by being a dick. And there's a lot of that going on. So I've unfollowed quite a few people because what I was finding was you get pulled into these like spats they're having with other creators and you're like, why am I wasting my time with this? It's dangerous, it's a time suck. And actually, it's distracting you from all of the quality stuff that is out there. If someone has a big following, just remember they are not influential, they just have a number. You want to be following the people out there who are going to be the Bezoses of this in the future. And they're out there right now. And actually, what's great about this is they'll talk to you. Like, there's quite a few people who have actually started following me that I'm like, well, actually, in this industry right now, these guys are like big deals. So it's great to have a bit of a relationship starting to form, but just don't get involved with the spats. You'll just spend your life angry and it's, so toxic. Just sort of covered this, but the next big issue is anyone can build a following here. Anyone can write. And because of the way that Twitter promotes things, the engagement of likes and comments, people go after driving that because they want to build a following and they end up famous for being a berk. And then probably the final downside is this is going to end up super crowded at some point. So I feel like we're in the golden era right now, Twitter. And now is your chance to go out there and build an audience for you to sell and promote anything that you like to in the NFT space. You've just got to get started, and for a lot of people, Twitter is the easiest way in. So look, I'm on Twitter. I always mean to be more active. Life gets busy. Follow me, it's Mr. Fungible. Check out the lists link that I put below, and I'll constantly be adding to the sort of NFT gold list. If you want to learn more about building a following to promote your NFTs and your projects, anything NFT related, this project here is going to help you a ton.